So whether you're a solo developer or not, it can be hard to understand just how and why a game like Hollow Knight becomes successful. This game easily made over $1 million, but that's with a whole team of developers working on a sole project over years of development time. Most devs probably wonder if it's even possible for them to create that type of game or make that kind of money to support that game dev dream. I know I did. But looking at other games such as Stardew Valley or Cave Story, we know that there can be success. Just how do we find it? When Hollow Knight was first released in 2017, it took the world by storm, to say the least. Everyone's mother was talking about how amazing the visuals were, and some even said it was the best Metroidvania ever created.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I don't know about that last one, but in this video today, we're going to use what's called a Steam revenue calculator to get a rough estimate of just how much money this game made. This will help us get a little bit more perspective on just how big this game was. Before we get into just how much this game potentially made, we're going to pick apart this game to really figure out what made it stand out so that we can practically apply those things to our own development practices and maybe someday make $1 million like those guys did, because wouldn't that be great? So be sure to stick around to see just how much this game made, because it's so crazy, and this is a group effort. This is a group effort here. So please let me know in the comments below what stood out to you about Hollow Knight so we can learn together. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say, so let's just jump into it. So to start off, I want to share what Team Cherry said about Hollow Knight. Our approach has always been to invest everything into our games, leaving no potential unexplored. This ensures our games feel authentic to Team Cherry's vision. One of the key factors that I believe contributed to Hollow Knight's success was the attention to detail that the developers put into every aspect of the game. From the game's mechanics to its art style, every element of the game was clearly crafted to create a cohesive and immersive experience. The game's world was filled to the brim with hidden secrets and details that rewarded players for exploring and paying attention to their surroundings. This attention to detail also extended to the game's sound design, with each area having its own unique soundscape that added to the game's atmosphere. The developers' attention to detail helped to create a game that felt polished and complete, with no detail overlooked. That's why I think people love this world so much. I mean, just look at speedrunners and no-hit playthroughs. People love to just be in this world. So how can we practically apply this to our game development process? Well, seeing what they said, I think paying attention to detail is a key factor. As a developer, it's important to pay attention to every aspect of your game, from its mechanics to its art style. Take that time to create a cohesive and immersive experience that rewards players for exploring and paying attention to their surroundings. This attention to detail will help create a game that feels more like a work of art, with no detail overlooked. Speaking of this world, Hollow Knight's art style is nothing short of breathtaking. The game's hand-drawn 2D art is just both beautiful and haunting. For one, it's just because it's bugs, but this level of detail is rarely seen in video games these days. Environments were just so detailed, with each area having its own unique look and feel, and the use of color was just so meaningful, with each area also having its own distinct color palette that adds to the game's atmosphere. Ari Gibson, I'm sorry if I messed up your name, he's an artist from the team, said that we aimed to create a world that felt rich and detailed in every corner. Every element serves a purpose to invoke a specific mood and atmosphere. Character designs were also memorable, with each character having its own unique personality and backstory. The bosses as well were crazy impressive, with each one being a work of art in its own right, and the use of lighting and shadows was also stunning, with the game's environments and characters being brought to life through the use of dynamic lighting. Overall, Hollow Knight's art was a testament to the power of hand-drawn 2D art, with a shining example of how video games can be done in this true art form. So let's practically apply this again. What do we need to do? I think we need to be open to iterate and improve. The factor that contributed to Hollow Knight's success was the developer's iterative design process. From an art perspective, take the time to listen to player feedback and use it to refine and improve your game over time. This is incredibly difficult, but this will help create a game that's both challenging, fair, and just plain gorgeous, with mechanics that are well designed and balanced. Don't be afraid to experiment with different ideas and mechanics, and be willing to make those changes based on player feedback. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Hollow Knight's success was also due in part to the developers' engagement with the game's community. The developers were active on social media and forums, listening to player feedback and responding to questions and concerns. This helped create a sense of community around that game, with players feeling like they were part of the development process. The developers also released several content updates, such as Lifeblood and Hidden Dreams, adding new areas and bosses based on players' feedback. The developers engaged with the community and helped them to create a game that felt like a labor of love, with the developers and the players working together. And this truly led to them creating a world they loved, with William Pellin, a programmer, saying, "What truly drives us is the creation of expansive and immersive worlds. We could envision ourselves continuing to explore the Hollow Knight universe indefinitely." Let's apply this one more time. Put plainly, really, engage with the community. Hollow Knight's success was also due in part to the developers' engagement with the game's community. As a game developer, it's important to be active on social media and forums, listening to players' feedback and responding to questions and concerns. This will help create a sense of community around your game, with players feeling like they are a part of the development process. Also, it'll just help you make a better game. This will help create a game that feels like a labor of love, with developers and players working together. Clearly, Hollow Knight found success. But just how much success did they find? Well, using the calculator I mentioned earlier, you take the amount of reviews they had with how much the game cost, and we estimate that Hollow Knight made Team Cherry a grand total of $58 million. Absolutely wild. That's just an estimate, so it's probably way more than that, to be honest. But I truly believe that if we can apply the things we talked about today to our own games, we can also find success like Team Cherry did. So now it's your turn. What stood out to you about Hollow Knight, and how can we apply it to our own games that we're making today? I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. So there you have it, breaking down Hollow Knight's success. Hopefully this was helpful. I love revisiting these games, so if there's a specific game that you would like me to break down next, let me know. The solo dev journey is a tough one, but don't give up. We can all find success in these days if you and I are willing to do the work. So again, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.